Good afternoon. Romans chapter 12 is the front page of the website. Click Romans, letter R, down to Romans chapter 12. A review of chapter 11. Israel's disobedience gave occasion to a group chosen by God, comprised of individuals of the world, Jews and Gentiles alike, to receive the mercy of God and become faithful servants of the Lord, to be reconciled with Him by His grace in a unique temporal relationship as His chosen people in this dispensation, the church age, to represent Him and His grace gospel to the world. So 12 leads from this. Future generations, however, of Israel will obtain God's mercy, and God will fulfill a new covenant with them. In the meantime, we have our job as members of the body of Christ. So we go to verse 1. In view of God's mercy bestowed upon them, that's us, Paul authoritatively exhorts Gentiles and Jews who are fellow believers to offer their bodies, their thoughts, words, and deeds as a living daily sacrifice, holy and pleasing to God as their spiritual act of worship. And Paul adds to this in verse 2. In view of the mercy of God, which has shown to Gentile believers, Paul continues to expound spiritual act of worship of the Lord. They are not to conform any longer to the ungodly pattern of this world, but be transformed by renewing their minds with the Word of God unto His good, pleasing, and perfect will. And added to that, we've got the Word of God as a tool we can use to perfect this throughout the life of this temporal life unto when we go home to be with the Lord. This is added to by verse 3. In view of the mercy God has shown to Gentile believers, Paul continues to expound upon his authoritative exhortation of them to offer their bodies as a living daily sacrifice, holy and pleasing to God, as an act of spiritual worship of the Lord. And, as verse 2 said, they are not to conform any longer to the ungodly pattern of this world, but be transformed unto God's will by renewing their minds with the Word of God. On the opposite side of the coin, hence they are not to think of themselves more highly than they ought, but think of themselves in accordance with the measure of faith God has given them. Verses 4 through 8. Believers are to present their bodies as a living sacrifice to God, to live according to His holy, pleasing, and perfect will, with God's view that they form one body in Christ, wherein each member has different functions in service to the Lord, belonging to the body of Christ and to each of its members. And B, each believer has been given different gifts according to the grace of God to diligently exercise in proportion to the measure of faith given to him by God, be it prophesying, serving, teaching, encouraging, giving leadership, mercy, and so on. Maybe more than one. Now we have 9 through 21. Lots here to consider. So, in view of those verses up through 21, a paramount characteristic for believers is to exercise godly agape love toward others, which is without pretense, a self-sacrificial regard for the welfare of another, a regard which nature it is to abhor what is evil and cling to what is godly. This takes practice because we keep falling back, studying and moving on. Believers are to express kind, affectionate, brotherly love towards one another. They are to honor and give preference to others before themselves, and be committed to the welfare of others as an expression of godly self-sacrificial love. I need work on this myself daily. And There's a lot in these verses, so there's a lot in this topical heading here. A believer is to serve the Lord, not slothfully, not lacking in diligence. He is to be fervent in spirit and emotionally committed in his service to the Lord. Therefore, he is to rejoice in the sure hope of receiving the eternal glory of God. I look at that and I find that a little bit easier because I look forward to eternity. Persevere through temporal difficulties. That's a little tough. Continue steadfastly in prayer. We need to work on that. Provide for the temporal needs of the saints. Bless those who persecute him as opposed to cursing them. Rejoice with those who rejoice and weep with those who mourn. Be of one accord with fellow believers, reference especially to godliness. Not be high-minded with a self-aggrandizing attitude. Associate with the humble, not the high-minded. Not be wise in one's own opinion. Not be given to repay evil with evil. I need to put this on my door. Be open and godly before men to demonstrate a high regard for godliness. Live peaceably with all men as far as possible. Let God avenge wrongdoing. Give food and drink to his enemies in order to move them to repentance, and not overcome evil with evil, but with good. And so there is a message, a short one, but possibly an overwhelming one, affirming that we need to stick to studying carefully with diligence God's Word, and let Him work within us through the work of the Holy Spirit.